Welcome back to Nocturnia. What does the end of the world sound like? It is not the sound of explosions or the screams of the dying. It is the sound of a profound, deafening silence. The sound of a sun-bleached sky and wind whistling through the hollow carcass of a tree. Tonight, we recount the final testimony of a survivor who walked the scorched bones of the earth, and the choice he made on the last day of the last winter. His story, as he remembered it, truly began 2 years ago, when he stared into the eyes of a little dead girl. She was sprawled on a strip of highway deep in what used to be the Midwest, her dead, fermenting eyes staring past him, up into the white-hot sky. They didn't leave many bodies behind when they left, the silent observers in the sky. This one, however, remained. Her skin was dark and leathery, and from a growing hole in her cheek, blue tendrils twirled, tipped with a vibrant, synthetic orange. The sight of her unearthed a memory he had long tried to bury. His father's body had been more pristine, less infected by the now. There was only the tight, red little hole in his temple and the pool of dark, sticky blood surrounding bits of brain. His father's eyes, stained red, sat uncomfortably in their sockets, dislodged by the force of the bullet. He was smiling. The survivor, just a boy then, had been relieved when his father killed himself. He took the gun, he took his shoes, and he left the corpse to rot in the fat, white sun, our truck lying upside down and smoking nearby. The little dead girl on the highway had a similar wound in her calf, poking out from a purple nightgown. It was the nightgown that made him vomit, heaving onto the hot tarmac. She was so young, the same age he was, probably, when he left his own father behind. It happened in the night, he thought, staring at the dead girl. Faint tire marks baked into the road told a story. She had gone, a term for succumbing to the synthetic plague they called bleach. She died seething with pain, alone in the inky darkness, with no memory of who she once might have been. The sun was rising, and the pile of vomit beside him would soon begin to cook. He stood, looked at her one last timer china doll, cracked and fading, and turned back to the road. That day had been the last wink of what used to be winter. His diary, a relic of a time with names for months and years, said March 3rd. The last time he was truly sure of the date, he was 9. The day the school caught fire. The village burned for a week, a collection of lazy wooden shacks that went up like a pile of matches. It was after the fire on the Exodus that his grandmother picked up bleach, and soon everyone was on their way to being gone. After seeing the dead girl, he had collected enough fuel to wait out the summer in the caves. They were damp, dripping places, deep enough to escape the heat that brought third-degree burns and snarling tumors. They stank of the rotted bodies of those who had starved or gone, but they were cool and dark and safe. That year, he'd left it so dangerously late that on the final leg of the journey, their ships started appearing in the sky. Small black dots at first, growing larger, full of scientists in grey coats, he imagined, watching, waiting for everything to die so they could start again. They were just black pebbles in the sunset to him, silent, windowless, with no visible sign of life. floating calmly as Earth ate itself like a starving coyote. But he had forgotten the caves long ago. Now he stands on the roof of a gas station. It is midday. The sky is a clear, featureless gray. Yellow-brown plains sprawl outwards in all directions, and the highway cuts a single black line through the middle. The silence is absolute, crashing down on his shoulders and burrowing into his dry, blistered throat. Blood leaks from the blisters on his cheeks. It begins to boil slowly, etching hot, tear-like burns down his chin. He doesn't feel it. He is just a pair of eyes, waiting for this day. The last day of winter. The last wink. He holds his arms outstretched. From somewhere far away, a place much bluer and greener, much louder. He can feel his old memories burn away like a photograph on a campfire. The sensation of the blistering heat on his skin begins to feel like rain, cold and relieving. He had bleached himself intentionally. He'd found one of the rotted bodies deep in the caves, a man with milky eyes and a bottle of something rolled away from his hand. He had kissed the man's cold forehead, an act of strange communion. The forgetting began not long after. It was sweet, like falling slowly asleep away from this fucking nightmare. He feels his legs begin to give out on the roof of the gas station. He can feel nothingness holding out its hand. As the blistering now becomes a universal way, he turns. Just before his vision blurs into a sweet, comfortable, eternal gray, he sees her again. The little dead girl lying on the highway, sprawled out on the scorched earth. He smiles as he finally slips away. He smiles at her red, unblinking eyes, a mirror to his own final, peaceful gaze.